Cool. Oh, nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. I was.
Bummer.
No, I like urbanization.
These are just simple, really similes that kind of represent some of the simple thought processes that everybody has. They just can't say a lot of the time. Because, as soon as I say, like, what if society, what if the entire world got along just like little flowers? You probably never said it before, you never thought about it before, but you've always thought what a perfect world would be perfect, right? That'd be wonderful. So you thought the same thing I thought. I just said it differently. But it sure is. It's easy to say whenever somebody says it, and then it's like right in front. It's like right there, and then your eyes. One of the six senses you have. Five senses. I'm yeah, I'm dumb, dude. I'm dumb. One of the five senses that you have finally told you that there is some sort of metaphorical representation to the thoughts that you had your entire lives. They're right there. You look out there and you're like, oh, well, that's the words I never said before because I didn't know how to say them.
I know that I'm thirsty, and like I know people forget to drink and go to the bathroom and shit like that in VR. So I just want to be like a reminder here to like about your biology, to like stay alive, hydrated, don't melt your brain.
To take heed to every single requirement the body has.
Yeah, especially if you're drinking alcohol, right? Or like me,
yeah.
caffeine and Adderall and smoking weed, and in an arid environment on top of it. And I think I had an internet hiccup, but now it's gone.
I love Adderall so much, because the only like developmental thing, it doesn't change anything about like the way that I process anything. And amphetamines, honestly, that's their purpose. It's supposed to give your body the plus side of creating serotonin and dopamine, whatever else it may be. That's why people get addicted, because it's a good thing. But what it does for me is it creates every single time that I'm taking amphetamine, it creates a reaction time and ability that like I didn't feel before.
Yeah.
Like it makes you so fast, man. It makes you so fast. I think the same, but I'm just faster.
Right. And you're quicker to get to the words to articulate it, and more motivated to do so. And then once it balances out,
more than I am.
Yeah. But like the world should be able to compensate for that many words. Like people who are like they want everything to be 3 sentences. I don't think that's realistic. Like if we want to say something of value, we just need to make sure the person wants to get involved with something in depth, so that their expectations aren't fucked with, and like
exactly as simple a concept as somebody that gets mad at somebody else because they changed their mind. Somebody that they use the word hypocrite because somebody else had a developmental process in their brain. They told them, oh well, maybe I didn't theorize whatever thought I had. I didn't think about every aspect of it. I changed my mind. Maybe I was wrong, and then they get mad because they said they're wrong. That's sorry. Random rant, but that's kind of the same.
It's to me, you're sharing notes of observations, of which I've seen it too. You're not alone in seeing that for sure. Yeah.
I feel judgmental because I started talking about people that are primitive, but they're not primitive, and I should never say that.
We were primitive at one point in our development.
Well, we're not now, and everybody has the exact same capabilities that we do, whether we like it or not. It's just how they actually, because of chemical balancing in the body, they have those abilities in different aspects. So some people are better in, psychology, some people are better in, you know what I'm talking about.
We fill each other's weaknesses.
But I don't mean to, I don't mean to mean anybody when I say that, and I feel like I did. It makes me feel fucking shitty, dude.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes some of the truth is not always terribly pretty, and sometimes the nice thing to do to people is to be honest with them, even though it's painful for them and it might be a detriment to your ability to be friends with them for a while or period. But sometimes if you don't give people the bad news, then they're just enabled, and then when someone finally does, which inevitably someone will, then they get a culture shock, and it's worse because it wasn't something they heard, frequently.
Well, to me, I mean, I think culture shock is a lot more acceptable than than the kind of animosity that's created between people that can't experience culture shock.
Oh, believe me,
They can't.
it's unintentional or a last resort, and then most of the time I avoid it these days. Even though I know I can break through to people, even stubborn people, I don't bother.
Same way.
Sorry about that.
I know, me too. I always take a humble approach. I never want to be considered a person, and I don't care about other people's opinions. I'm not a manipulative person, but I am a persuasive person, and persuasion is a good thing if used for the right thing.
Insert Peter Parker's uncle quote right now. That's what I always tell people when I teach them stuff about psychology and behavior. I just ask them not to abuse it. Like, what's the goal really? Why?
Yeah.
Does whatever you're doing really reach towards that goal? And again, what's the goal? Like, how do we unify through goal orientation?
Well, honestly, that can be taken. You could that's all in context, I guess. But
yeah,
yet you're talking about like the ability to have mutual goals. I don't think anybody in this whole world, like the metaphor I was using earlier about the field, being pretty or whatever. People,
Starry Night. I guess we're portal jumping. Hey, we're portal jumping, and it right here. I gotta get a drink. Okay. I've got a drink now, but now I have to pee. I'll be right back.
Where? Oh man, life has so many unpredictable expectations and then surprises based on the expectations we made of other people. I run a retail store. I stay home a few 14 hours a day, and I do things that most people do without ever having to think about them, just like nobody else ever, because you get I don't know what I'm talking about, but I do simple stuff in my life. My education's very limited. But the capabilities that I have, I'll never cap them. Never cap them because, I guess at this moment, because it'll probably change tomorrow, this moment I feel like the advocation of representing that everybody has capability, no matter what the situation or what you think your brain can tell you, whether you're sociable and able to express it or not. We've thought about the same thing. And we all kind of want the same thing. We want everybody to kind of be better. can't think of a human in my entire life that I've genuinely I didn't want them to be better or react differently or to be happier. Even with like the people that I didn't like. You know, I got an ex-wife and this crazy as shit got. I would never want her to have any kind of limitations or expectations in my brain of her adaptability socially, and I always hope that the next experience she has, whether the situation we went through, that it's different, that it's better,
Okay, I am back. In 1 second. Alright, so, serious question.
Yeah.
If you were gonna get a cock sleeve tattoo, what would it be?
What the fuck? What's the concept?
Just giving some levity to this really, really cool, real conversation.
I feel like as the nights progress and 3 of us last, you're right, being a little more simple. Oh, music! I'd probably get like one of those mechanical opening, like feel like if my penis was made of wiring, and then you saw that it was ripped open and the exoskeleton of a robot, and you saw the wiring, it'd be cool as shit. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. Let's play music.
I actually watched a series of short episodes about an AI consciousness that was made, and then of course blah 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 other things. But there was a part very similar to what you were talking about, and she had a dream where she ripped open her ferret and found that the ferret was a robot as well, and that ferret,
the AI,
the ferret ripping it open and then seeing like all the machinations and android stuff underneath. That's your cock sleeve tattoo, the ferret getting ripped open by like
you see the inhumanistic like innards. Like, I always wanted a tattoo, like I wanted my half sleeve to be like mechanical kind of. I don't know, I always wanted it. Now then I pussied out because I'm malleable and I realize it's probably a bad life choice. But that'd be cool to think about. It's cool to think about, and I can almost justify it and enjoy it as much thinking about it as if it was physically on me, because I'm simple and I don't try to complicate something like that. I enjoy it the same. Like, thinking about it, reminiscing as many times as it may take, it'll always be enjoyable. What kind of music do you like?
I'll diddle a little bit for you guys. I'm gonna have to turn the music off though, because I can't do it while listening to the world.
I don't know how to. Yeah, I need to turn the world volume down, I guess.
Yeah, world volume. And sometimes in the worlds there's a way. Or you're asking us to portal again? Twin Spire Village? I didn't even look around here.
We have no limitations to it.
Alright, let's do it. Psh. I know where my towel is. And now I need to clip my fingernails. Of course. And now I gotta clip my fingernails. Special thanks to blah blah blah. Clouds, particles, shadows, bloom, scrolling, ambient wind. I still got the world stuff turned down though, so that's good. And then there are other portals here. And we have teleporting map destinations. That's all right.
This has all been on stream.
Yeah.
I hope I never listened to it.
Oh, it's pretty cool, man. You can take one of your, like, you know, 3 to 5 minute like spiels.
Oh
And
god,
boom.
it's moving. Come on.
Oh, thank you. Good looking out. I was almost left behind with just my towel and my smooth
Lack
crotch.
of genitals.
Yeah. All right. So now you guys are nice and close here. So
We thought the same thing.
and I need to clip my nails. It's been a little bit. But my guitar's pretty nice.
I just clipped mine today.
And I don't.
I've lacked in every aspect of taking care of myself because, honestly, I mean, I drink too much now. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you if I can emotionally feel by. Of course, I've realized every bit of detriment to myself I've been going through, whatever. But I lost my baby.
You lost your baby.
Yeah, so it wasn't technically my baby, but I cut the umbilical cord and everything. I married a girl that, it's not even worth really talking. You know what? There's a lot of other things that socially acceptable, and especially contextually, because right now that was completely irrelevant. Where are we going?
Nothing's irrelevant
it's like
to me.
moving slowly, and it's kind of like satisfying to move this slowly. Especially as fucking far as we're going. Like, we're going so far.
We are evolving to new heights.
So, so you were playing. You were playing like.
Sweet picking like Yngwie Malmsteen, and then like Cordova and Latin mixed. And then whatever, a little bit of
major chords into a random strumming pattern to create harmonics, but it's still fun. Like, it's really fucking good, honestly.
oh, we gotta move. I'll play here in a second again. Woo! Oh, we had to take an elevator to get to an elevator. To get to like a stairs made of clouds.
Yeah, this is so fucking stupid.
There we go. All right. So name this tune.
Uh-oh, I'm falling. No.
Actually, that bit there was not the tune. It was just this part.
Honestly, if I had to put a name on it, like, I was thinking, the band Yes, Chris Squire, and it kind of sounds like a Yes song intro.
I'm sure it influenced the artist. Here's a hint.
I can't pick it up.
Beavis and Butthead.
I was thinking maybe it's the one. I didn't want to sound dumb.
Yeah, it's and then I took all of those notes and all of that stuff, those patterns, and I just fucked with it, and then I made my ode to Mike Judge, the creator and writer of that song.
fucking chicken picking, but at the same time, like, what is it, gypsy jazz, fucking Django Reinhardt kind of gypsy. If he ever fucking be chicken picked, that's exactly what it sounded like. And that is the most insane concept of music I've ever thought about in my entire life.
I call it promiscuous because it's both promiscuous and miscellaneous. It's like 3 different genres had a fucking orgy, and then it had a baby, and that's this. It's been like watching a child grow. Good sir.
You know what? Maybe that child should just remain nameless.
Well, I mean, I think it's already pretty much been done. It's like fingerstyle percussive. So yeah, like. That one's a little less developed.
So whenever you think of the concept of playing out music and going and, you know, doing something that's a little outside of the box for yourself, do you ever think about making any kind of a career out of it? I hate the concept of making a career out of it because I feel like it would become too much of a job. And with a simple mind like mine, I would never be able to get over the fact that I'd spend my time doing something that I loved into making it something that I don't love as much anymore.
See, this one's a bit more developed.
Every bit of it sounded developed. Every bit of it sounded like you knew exactly what the next move was. Like,
oh yeah, that was all like the hone stuff that's, you know, come out of it. And then if I just sit here and just fiddle, new stuff will emerge too. And like you could tell me your Joe Dirt story and I could like aim to put like enhancement mood music over it and shit.
Same here, yeah, just emotional development using the exact same thing we've known for a long time. Application of this, because 100% of the time, people would feel the exact same way you would feel if you heard the same song behind whatever, you know, what am I trying to say? Fuck. You heard people talking, and you heard a song,
right? Yeah.
Yeah, if you heard music or like people talking, and you heard a song, and the song that was so appropriate behind that music, you would feel the same way playing it. Because you're satisfied there's other people that are listening. That makes sense.
Yeah, and I used to be like a sort of a jukebox where I knew a lot of other people's music. Not so much anymore, but at the same time, it wouldn't take me too much to like pull up Power Tabs program over here on my laptop and like look through a bunch of songs, and then like I could just start playing little riffs of them pretty quickly. But I really like just playing my own stuff. But
so one time, it's been years and years ago, I thought like the next step of my ability to develop and improv and do things that make me like come out of my own comfort zone would be to host a live karaoke. When I say live karaoke, I mean if somebody has a request of a song, I would look up the tabs on the spot, and I will play the song that they are gonna sing after I heard them say it. I did it. It was successful, dude. I did it for like months and months, and the bar closed down. But I did it for months, and like that was one of the most. Cause you know how many songs that I played that I'd never heard in my entire life, and then they, extremely satisfied with the situation, sang the song that I was playing that I'd never heard.
Huh?
Like
I can't do that.
It's just improvisation that, you know, I don't know. I thought it would be fun at the time, and I'm extremely glad that I thought it'd be fun.
Like you can play songs you've never heard before from tabs and get it right?
From tabs?
That's really impressive.
Well, no,
man.
not right. Not right. I guarantee not a single one of them was right, but the person that was, standing in front of me singing the song, they were completely glad. They were fine with me being right or not right because they got to sing.
I see.
Which is, I guess the purpose is satisfaction. So yeah, most of them I still haven't listened to. And I could have fucked it up and not even know it at this point, but dude, it was successful. That was a big fucking challenge.
Yeah, you could do well with that, streaming it, and then the viewers, it's interactive and the viewers are sort of in control and they're making requests, and then like there's really no way to fail. I feel like it just sometimes some ways are way slower than others, and it depends on what you want to do, I guess. But I just try without trying. Like, I'm not gonna like go out of my way too much. I'm definitely not gonna conform in really any way, because I can really only be what I am at this point. And
yeah.
And then I'm not for everybody, but the people that dig it, they dig it quite a bit, and we usually have a pretty good flow. I've had people in here like playing piano with me telling like a Joe Dirt story, and they're like doing what I was talking about. You guys both get that reference, Joe Dirt story.
Mm-hmm.
You Nama. I don't see you moving now. You must be leaned back.
Might be chilling.
Nama usually
enjoying
nods.
The ambiance.
They usually nod like that, or you know Joe Dirt, Nama, the movie Joe Dirt. Yes? Okay. So I always tell people to tell me their Joe Dirt story, or, whatever. For the people that don't just openly share, which thank you for making that part easy for me. And you guys can ask me anything too. Like, there's no boundaries with me.
Same here. I'm in uncontestable open book. And the fact that that doesn't mean I'm headstrong. It means that you'll never be able to have an opposition that's really going to trigger me, because I'll be adaptable to whatever conversation, whatever opinion anybody else has. And I'll make sure that whatever persuasion it takes, whatever's necessary for the conversation, to avoid anybody ever having the opposition, or anybody having the opportunity to get mad or have opposition.
Your crowd control and you diffuse situations.
I like to, yeah, but I rarely ever do, because dude, people just don't give you the time of day now, Which I don't let that stop me. I'll still try.
I'm on the verge of never talking to anybody again. I'll be honest with you. But
that's very limiting.
Like every now and then I run into somebody who changes my mind by just enough to keep me doing it, but none of them are here right now. So you think about that for a minute.
Well, when you think about the development you're gonna have in the future, because of the fact that if you never talk to anybody again, just know you've stopped that capability. You've limited yourself in the point that you're never.
Well, I was generalizing. Obviously, I'm still going to talk to people, and I didn't say I wasn't going to stop talking at people. And it's just whether or not I was willing to go and engage with random people directly anymore. Like, I receded from society when I was 21. And I didn't come back in any way until I was 31. And then even still, I didn't really come back. I'm very selective about meeting people in real life. I go out of my way to avoid a lot of society. And then here, it's a little less consequences, because people can't get physically violent directly with me immediately. They got time to cool off if they got mad or misunderstood me or something like that. And so that helps. But, a wise man says we'll see is usually something that goes right along with everything that I theorize or pontificate as a given. And if it's not a fact, if I don't know it, then it's just hypothesis. maybe it borders on theory
There's
sometimes.
a lot of opportunity and hypotheses.
Yeah, there's a lot of
They sure
possibilities.
Can go yes or no, can't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
But at any rate,
I think from my perspective, like, and I did, of course, like you said, you dissipated the fact that it was you necessarily at the time. In context, it's just, I think if I ever had the opportunity to limit myself from having, the social capability, because I felt like it was a necessity in my life at that point, I would be missing out on a massive amount of opportunity for me to gain knowledge. Even from a person like Nama that I've never heard their voice, how much knowledge I've gained just by the fact that knowing someone who's I've never heard their voice, but they sure have been like indulged in the conversation that we've created, and they have a contribution to that same conversation that I would have never felt that contribution had I never been in the conversation. There's a lot of opportunities if I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna disappear from society because I think that's the best thing to. Well, whenever I disappear from society because I think that's the best thing for me, I just stop myself from developing that experience, that emotion, that feeling that Nama just gave me. It's gone. Never experienced. And you know what? That's limited because that happened right here in front of me. And the next time tomorrow night, if I decided I don't want to talk to you, then I've missed out on the opportunity of whatever emotion I felt. I'll never get it again. Never. It's gone.
See, I always feel like talking to people, but the issue with me is redundancy and patterns that prove mostly fruitless, or it's speculative, like maybe there are benefits overarching somewhere but not directly to be seen, and mostly a lot of sort of time pollution in the form of redundancy, because I've been doing this such a long time, and it actually prevents me from acquiring knowledge because I end up either responding to the same things in many similar ways and also seeing the same things said over and over and over again, and it's really rare to find something that's branching off away from that, or occasionally we build off of it. I say something a little bit different than I'd responded to that, I take it a little bit further somewhere I'd never been before, but that's pretty rare, and I probably would have done it if I had just been learning a bunch of stuff. But then at the same rate, like, if you get good at figuring out where and how to fish for the people, then it is really fucking valuable and good, and it's a great drug.
I feel like I don't. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me to process the concept, but even though it's monotonous, even though it's the same thing over and over, the reactions are the same. Experience is the same.
You ready to go to Silent Beach and then not be silent?
Like it.
Oh god. Oh god. Oh god.
Ooh.
This place looks pretty cool.
I guess I don't have the generalized expectation of that conversation I have with everybody. I can't generalize them. I'm going to run into something that's different, and that variation definitely, in my mind, overpowers the monotonous aspect of what my expectation was for everybody else. Though
I think
I guess what I'm what I'm saying is, like, sometimes you meet some people with conversation like us, but if you just think it's not going to happen, then it probably never would have. And I'm glad, we both have the same mindset for it to have an opportunity to happen.
Right. And like I said, a wise man says we'll see, and so of course I press on. And also, this is a different environment with a lot more diverse people in it, whereas before it was all video games, which has diverse of people in it, but their goals are aligned towards playing the game, not having a conversation.
Right.
And there's more variance here, so there's less redundancy. And there's more people at once that you're
Variance
sampling.
creates that intimacy that can never be experienced otherwise.
Yeah, it's
A lot of people
natural.
do relate.
I'm going to turn the world music back on, unless you want to pick up an acoustic and play for us some. No pressure. Another time if you like.
I can. Well, I don't have my acoustic's in the living room, but I don't really feel like I can get by. I got a ukulele next to me.
I mean, if it's a quality ukulele and you can play it and it's in tune or whatever, like, if as long as the mic picks it up enough that we can hear it, so it's not background. Oh yeah, that's good.
We'll see.
And we're on a beach here. That's perfect. You know who Jake Shimibukuro is?
I don't.
He's a badass ukulele player. You should check out his song "Let's Dance." It's an original composition. He really feels it. Actually, if you guys want, we can hit up one of these YouTube video viewers, and I can just pull up the video for us, and we can watch it together.
Okay. Let me. So tell me his name again. I'll search in Google and I'll leave it there so I don't forget. And then I'll play a song and then we can go.
You can just search Auditory Celebrations, and that's my playlist channel, and then you can find all that shit. I think I put all of the shit I'm telling you about in the big list, which is just like a whole bunch of variety to let you kind of see what sort of stuff is at the channel. But there's a lot of variance there, and it's growing all the time. I'm surprised what I listen to, like earwormy stuff, like stuff in an intro to an anime that I watched got me addicted to it, and I'm like, yeah, like remixes of stuff, and like
yeah, dude, I end up like making myself feel weird.
What's in the beach house?
Because of my preferences. I'll do like one verse, and then we'll see. C is gonna go F, and then you do major 7. So, all right, soul music. Like I said, I do soul music. Marvin Gaye. This is a 4-chord song. I don't know if I've ever. I think I played it on ukulele before, but Alright, here we go. I've been really trying, baby. Trying to hold back this feeling for so long. And if you feel like I feel, baby, you just come on. Oh, come on. Woo. Let's get it on. Yeah. So easy.
Let's get it on. Chocolate rain. I have a voice mod, and I don't have a good enough mic to use it while doing this, but that's on the list. Maybe the index mic will be a high enough bit rate that I'll be able to use the voice mod.
Mortals.
Hey, I'm actually an alien from another
Yeti, it's the Yeti
planet.
Nano, or the blue Yeti Nano. It's got 24 kilobit input capability. As far as like
I need 48 for voice mod. 48K.
Oh,
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, I've got a USB mic that'll do it. It's just a piece of shit. I hate it. So fuck it. I can do my voices anyway. Fucking shit, man. My neighbor's dog has a 4-inch clit. I bet you got really hairy balls, man. I wish I had genitals. Does anyone know where the gas station is? My spaceship ran out of gas. I was just giving levity again. We were having some serious conversations. Hold on, let's see this. Let's ask the newcomers some stuff.
Man? What are you gonna do? Fight me?
No.
Alien man.
I was hoping that you guys would teach me something. I like learning stuff. Like, it could be anything. It could be about you. It could be your hobbies. It could be an interesting fact. I like.
Tell us a story since you've been around the whole universe.
Oh shit.
I don't think that was ever a statement. I think
Okay, well, so the story is that after a while, it's like you see so many things, and then you imagine so many other things, and you see so many imaginations of many things, and like then you do simulations where you go to different places and pretend to be different things, and then eventually you realize that there's really no point in going on a journey because you can go all of these places, close approximations in your brain, in these synaptic cascades, these simulations, and then you're like desensitized after a certain amount of time. And then interestingly enough, death becomes the ultimate reset button for our tolerance to the experiential drug that is life.
I forget to differentiate the real experiences versus.
I don't know. I'm just mentally masturbating. I mean, Dr. Brain Tickler's my porn surname. I'm a mental masturbator, a thought pornographer, and I work cheap.
TTV 280A.
I work really cheap. Yeah, no, like friends over followers. I don't want followers. I don't want groupies
I feel
and
like
fans.
an aggressive way, we've definitely turned off the conversation and animosity that could have developed.
What?
And any kind of
thank you so much.
Completely gone.
I was so hungry too.
And now everybody's got skewers. That's where we are.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. So this is my cock sleeve tattoo.
You know what? Let's all
a shish
fucking
kebab.
barbecue together.
Shish kebab.
You know, that's a lot better than just getting mad. I guess.
Who's mad?
You know, well, you're right. I mean, nobody now.
Yeah, like he.
But we can
he
fucking
was
barbecue and have a goddamn good time. The past is the past.
Yeah, like.
But the barbecue is right now.
There wasn't any animosity. He was just poking at me, testing me, seeing if I was like a fucking fragile little snowflake or something. Just seeing if I could take like a little bit of, whatever.
Well, that'll create animosity. A statement like that.
Not with me. Not with me. And am I wrong there?
Not with you, but
totally
you're not
kosher.
It might create animosity in this,
dude.
And also, us
I can never
talking
tell.
about the opportunity of animosity is also aggressive.
Oh yeah, it's psychological association. We seed it. Did we create it?
It is, and which at the same time, like we just
manifest it. We manifested it. What about manifesting a mental disorder?
You know what?
By pretending it's real? Can we do that? Oh, which one? This one?
I think genetically we do that regardless if we want to or not.
Are you ready? You see?
Sociologically, you went into a spiel about something he had no way in his brain of comprehending or interpreting exactly what you're
correct.
And then you're going to tell me that was not aggressive?
Well, it was, but it's in a weird way. It's tactical.
That, right?
It's tactical. Oh, it's tactical. So I could smell.
The guy literally didn't say another word, but we continued.
Yeah, I could tell that he was just
we knew when the limitation
not ready.
We knew whenever there's an opportunity to
and that was the quickest way I have to defuse something like that. And this is really cool. I'm saving this. I might actually play chess again. I'll find an interesting chess world.
I kind of respect that too. Like, yeah, fuck him. Is that what we're supposed to say?
I mean, he's not ready. I didn't insult him. I just told him something he wasn't ready to hear. He didn't know what to do with, so he left. And I was pretty sure that's what would happen. And if it didn't, then I would test him in the same way that he was trying to test me, but in my own way, and see if he can handle that.
Oh God, it was such an elevated way that you don't even realize how elevated.
Oh, I do.
Comparison it was.
I'm just desensitized to it. I feel.
So you're completely.
I feel it, but I feel it in a way that is like detached. Like I'm a separate observer from the reciprocal empathy model, because I'm always multiple people at the same time, and then I don't want to deal with it anymore.
I guess,
it's a redundant nightmare, you know.
Like,
so.
Yeah. Well, our expectations, we know that's going to happen no matter what we.
Right, but what's the quickest way to get to where the end result is? They leave. Do you want to do it?
What if there was there was a better way of winning?
Oh well, I'm not trying to win anything.
I'm glad you say that.
It's just efficiency. It's just efficiency. If they're not ready for existential intelligence and logic and science and real conversation, they're young or whatever, they're scared.
You understood that he was not ready.
Right, and so
socially, you built that expectation in your head. You knew exactly what his capabilities were.
Can you hear us from up there?
You decided you would go past that. And
sick.
And I guess I'm an advocate of understanding other people socially, knowing what their limitations are, and just kind of dissipating myself more so than I am them. because I know what the capabilities are, the dude didn't even say another word. You know what you're doing.
Well, I mean, he knew I was on a whole nother level he wasn't ready to deal with. He also knew that I wasn't trollable.
Guess what, like,
he knew I wasn't trollable,
yeah.
So that was the main thing.
Oh,
because that's really what
absolutely.
he's after.
He knew the whole time. I think I just does it ever, like, I guess, like, whenever I say I'm an advocate, is because I'm just extremely, like I said, empathetic. Like, I worry that if I say the wrong thing, we have a conversation, like, if I say those things to another person, which is completely capable, but I wouldn't take the opportunity because, like, dude, people are unstable. They're like, on here, there's a lot of people, they don't even realize that it's a last resort for them.
Yeah.
Because the social incapabilities, it could be brain chemistry,
Yeah.
chemical imbalance, it could be anything. It
I
might
get
be
it.
your last.
I get it.
But I'm super sensitive.
It might be mine. It might be mine.
Like,
what about all the people that redundant noise targets?
I would never force my opinions, and
think
I
about
can respect exactly what you did.
Think about all the people that are intelligent and on the spectrum or something, and they have no coping mechanism for all the trolling and abuse, and it's a redundant nightmare that torments them into being a serial killer. And then meanwhile, I give them a reason not to do it anymore, because then this might happen again, you know what I mean? And then at the same time, I show them that not all of us are going to be pushed around. Not all of us are trollable. Sometimes they are our food. And then, like, I don't mean to hurt him.
Would have been a parallel
either.
Universe that person
if I wanted to hurt
that
him
for the purpose of saving themselves.
If I wanted to hurt him, I could have hurt him.
They're not the aggressor. They're the victim, because they don't know another way to. They don't have another way of.
Trust me when I tell you. Trust me when I tell you that I get mass bullied and badgered into silence in almost every group that I go into, and it's absurd. And then I've seen it on younger versions of me that are a bit different, with 3 different age groups. I've seen this behavior of, it's sort of a mass bullying tactic, but verbally, and
we can literally categorize these people.
I actually have
simply categorized it, and we can probably put it in three, fucking single-digit number, and you can put every single person we encounter in those 3 categories.
Well,
but you understand exactly what I'm saying, and I understand exactly why you did what you did. So, we're fucking. It is what it is. Fuck 'em.
Well, I mean, the other option was me to just immediately mute him, which I feel like is cold. Hurts people's feelings even more. And then, again, like, I don't want to pretend that he's not ready for it, but at the same time, I want him to know what he's interacting with, or has some idea. And it's either like I try to do a disclaimer, or I do it that really efficient way. Rip the Band-Aid right off and be like, can you handle it? We're going 100 miles an hour immediately. Oh, you can't? All right, we'll come back when you're ready. You know? And I've seen every different reaction to this, too.
That was no Band-Aid. That was a wound that was
I lanced it. I lanced the boil.
And it was larger after you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to bleed. It's going to ooze pus, and he's going to lick his wounds. And then maybe he comes back one day and sees me in another place, and a whole bunch of people gang up on me or whatever, and he joins them. And then I change all of them as I flow with it, and kind of...
In a very sadistic way, I'm almost more... I'm more content with the fact that we discussed this than even anything that was ever said before. Like, in a very... I feel like that was more relevant to the world than any encounter that, happened 5 minutes ago.
Of course. What we're doing right now is industrial waste repurposing from the waste that I just did with the would-be troll that, just wanted to target someone, an adult, or someone who might be on the spectrum. That's what they love. They love to target people that are on the spectrum. It's like their favorite meal. And it's linked to the prejudice against intelligence as well, because of people's insecurities, because they don't know that they're fucking awesome with something. They don't know that they're smart, and they are smart somehow. They just don't study the study of intelligence. Our schools don't teach it so that people can compensate.
Really? I mean, it's just because they can't express or represent it the same way that we do.
Yeah, and
a lot of them have the exact same thought processes, of course, different ways, different opinions, but exact same capability of having the same thought process that we do. The inability to express exactly the way that we do, like
articulation is an entire completely different, like, developed skill.
It is, but that's also
Yeah.
key. You know, that's the fucking key. That's the
Nothing,
heart of sociability.
and nothing to be
Um,
ashamed of there, though. I'm pretty good at
no,
understanding people who don't have lots of words, but yet they have just enough words and
I
some
do
body
too.
language.
I
And
try harder and harder every day.
there are a few things that get me. Certain things that are way too ambiguous, and I demand definitions for them. And then they give me a definition that's ambiguous, and I'm like, well, what now? Define your terms type thing. Socratic method,
Yeah,
you know.
but
And then
you probably ask that, but knowing that they're not capable of
well, yeah,
representing exactly
I
what their thoughts are.
I asked them that so
and in a
that they
sadistic way,
think.
like I said, I kind of like that.
Well, not a sadistic way either. Not this time. Not in this case. Like this case, I'm always intending to get them to just think about it, where they haven't asked those questions before. Now they've got an inclination to ask questions in general as well. And, they'll forget about the moment of shame where some smart person made them feel a little bit insecure. They'll forget about me. And then one day they'll remember to ask the question and as a strategy because they forget who the trauma was attached to. And again, that's a theoretical or hypothetical. It's possible that it works that way.
Yeah,
Like I can't follow them around like Dr. Manhattan, fly on the wall or whatever to know for sure. But I have had people who I've done this with that have come back after a few months and they got over it and they came back and they like apologized for being an ass, and I'm like, it's no problem, it happens, but now we move on, right? Now we try to surf the crest of the wave in the same place, or at least tolerating that those concepts exist and not letting them own us, right? But then at the same time, one of the people that I freed from one of their sort of biases or whatever, I also moved out of the state, and then they were alone and no one else was around them that was sort of freed. So it was tormenting to them in the same ways that I had been tormented my whole life. Now I tread very carefully, and I have a Unitarian friend, very devout believer of God and sort of these a lot of things related to Western pagan-based faith. But like Unitarians, I don't know if you know about them, just for whoever doesn't, they're just like, if you've got a God and you've got morals, then everyone's fine with us in the Unitarian Church.
Yeah.
And then that's pretty cool as far as that sort of religion goes. But I still don't condone it. And at the same time, I like, I'm like, hey, like, you don't want an existential crisis, right? So there's certain things that I'm going to try not to do to you or expose you to. But I didn't even say that to them. And one day I will play some chess with you. It's been a long time, but
it's been a long time for me too.
I can still play it. I still remember how to play, And
I'm just drunk. It's not quite as interesting at the moment.
Right. I like licking brain much better. Like I've been good at games for a long time, and I don't even care about winning anymore. Like but at the same time,
what about let's talk about one random other concept too, I guess.
Oh, cool.
For people that are capable of expressing their opinion, because every bit of this is opinionated.
I guess it depends on how you define opinion, right?
Well, I guess the way I'm defining it contextually, like right here at this moment, anything you say could be, it could create controversy. So it's opinions, anything you say.
Right there, that statement you made is an observation of causation that definitely happens. It's a true statement. I know it's true, so it's axiomatic. Therefore, it's not an opinion. It's like, if we do it enough times, we will trigger someone. That's fact. We know it. It's inevitable. I know it. I've seen it thousands of times. I've tried every different variant of ways of dealing with every different type of behavior and modality and goal orientation braid. I've really experimented, like field studies. So I know that that's more than an opinion. But then again, what do you define an opinion as? It's like anything could be an opinion, but it could be a fact, and you just don't know it's a fact, so you call it an opinion. And then you start to say, okay, well, what is an opinion defined as in the dictionary? Not that it necessarily matters. But
Yeah.
It's an idea or belief
I
not
guess,
necessarily based on evidence. And if it's not necessarily based on
Right.
evidence, then what can you do with it? You can't build a bridge out of opinions. All I can do with people's opinions is understand like how they think, their psychological state, what they wish was true, that sort of thing. Presence of logical fallacies and cognitive bias and certain scientific illiteracy braiding together to produce the outcome of which I know is erroneous, and they don't know that. And even if I tell them what the fact is, they'll say that my fact is an opinion, and it's their opinion that my fact is an opinion, or it's their opinion that my theory, which is really hard work and tons of data,
we
and I can show it,
I think
right? So then I'm like, okay, so like, what is an opinion? Do you mean a hypothesis? Because it is synonymous with hypothesis in the dictionary as well as the second definition of it. And so in that case, I say, yes, hypothesis is valuable. But if you go and look at the definition of a hypothesis, it's a starting point from which to ask questions from, like, what facts do you have? And then, you know, it suggests a direction. It's not like baseless. Like an opinion is just like
Right.
throw a dart blindfolded almost, or like it's not quite a hypothesis. I do it with the monkeys and the typewriter metaphor.
So
or
basically, I
analogy.
mean, this is it. I understand exactly where you're going. Like, I mean, you're saying that me having an opinion
Mm,
of what the description of opinion is contextually this moment. Whenever I said it,
there's no
but
wrong answer.
you had an opinion against my opinion.
No. There's no
Before
wrong
proven.
answer. There's no wrong answer with semantics. That's where opinions do have value. Like, what's your opinion that the
that's
word
what
opinion should
origination-
be
yeah.
should be defined as? And there's no wrong answer. I'm not going to argue with it. I just ask you, what is your
Right.
definition of opinion, so I know what you're trying to say. You know, I want to understand.
I guess
That's
well,
all.
let me reword. Yeah, let me reword just to avoid the controversy. And let's see. So I've already kind of forgotten the key point.
Well, you know,
Gotta gather going.
It's-
Corey, gather your thoughts.
it's a hiccup with me personally, not everyone else, where I don't bother with the opinion part. Whenever I'm at that stage, I just really quickly admit that I don't know, so that I can identify what puzzle pieces I do have, if I have any, and then efficiently move on to the next step, which would be either asking questions and then searching for more information. You know, and if I have
you
no
moved that
questions,
step so
then it's like,
solidified.
yes,
because you
it's
learned so much,
it's
but yes,
efficiency.
it's-
It's efficiency is the
Yeah.
point. And then when everyone's arguing over opinions or entertaining many different opinions, I entertain them. I see those too. But at the same time, I disregard them if there's no reason to. Like, really? Like,
But you don't in hostility.
they're not wrong.
express that,
They're just possibilities, of which aren't as likely as other possibilities at the given moment based on the evidence we have, which it could change at any minute. And all of them fluctuate based
So
on the evidence
if
we have.
can create
One day
any
we
sort of,
arrive at understanding, hopefully. If not, it's many theories, many hypotheses existing at the same time.
We'll never arrive at an understanding, and I'm not saying that in like a, there's never.
In what
opportunity.
regard?
It-
You just mean generally.
Well, that
or
just
like,
yeah, and I don't even mean to generalize. I'm not saying like, well, we're limited. I'm not saying. I feel like anything is. Everybody has capability to do the same thing or do something completely different without controversy, which is what the entire night's premise has been. But I guess let me get back to kind of what I was saying to prevent it. Because I understand exactly what you're saying. The controversy. Let's prevent any kind of controversy in the word opinion. We don't need to define it anymore.
it opens the door to
You know,
argument.
It's probably the worst. It's probably the worst thing I could have said. Which honestly, I didn't realize that. At the time, that was the worst thing I could have said. Definitely knowing now.
Common vernacular, fist bump, handshake. It's
Right.
contagious. I still
But
say, God damn it.
I guess what I was saying is, think about, and once again, benefit of the doubt. Like I just have so many aspirations for everyone. Like more aspirations. I feel like I give more to other people's bucket list than I have for myself. What
I
if
see
others
everybody
had
as
the
myself,
opportunity?
So
I do too. Yeah, in the least biased way possible, with no generalization, no expectation
well, I have been
whatsoever.
them. I've
But-
been them in most cases. So
We are every single day. We are the exact same thing. Just, which I mean, chemically, factually, chemically, we're different in different aspects. But I would never limit other people's capabilities because I don't know what those aspects are chemically. You know, I don't know what the limitations are. But what if other people had the opportunity? Well, the ability. No. Okay. What if other people knew that they had the ability to express their opinion the same way that we do?
So I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Like every thought, every synaptic cascade has a cost financially and resources, ecologically, agriculture, carbon footprint.
Or,
you can
just
trace
like
it all.
in a sociability kind of aspect.
So industry standards has been something that's tormented me the past few years with all these user interfaces because I live online and I use like 100 different user interfaces in a week, maybe more. So there's all these little bugs. It's just perpetual. There's always something you could report. We're all quality assurance user interface testing slaves, and then like other redundancies layer on. And I'm just like focused now on saving our time, saving our energy, our calories. And one way we can do it is industry standard applied to the way we communicate and think, which is easily emulated, but it's like people have to show that it's more productive by displaying it, leading by example. And this is one of these sort of mind thought Jedi trick type things, and you better cast this one more time because we're gonna miss it.
Yeah.
And I'll take it like right after the end of the like pins, knot, and stuff. But at any rate, I've just seen it work more efficiently in so many different instances that I've seen it proven, and then it's a hard habit to break. And like I'll argue with myself, which I'm like, no, don't argue with myself. I'll like smack myself with a newspaper and say, no, you don't know, ask a question. And I'll even say that out loud. So I make an example of myself every time I do it. At any rate, maybe
when I say that, I mean
hold that thought or ram it up while we jump through the portal.
Okay.
Yeah. Really is Midnight Gospel, isn't it? Wherever you at, Midnight Gospel people, you know you want to get in here and have an episode with me. With us. Why isn't it letting me go? There we go. I feel like it should have let me go. Yeah, you see evading or avoiding ban, duration, any method, alternate accounts, etc. And like, I can't hide.
That's what I was talking about, was the exact opposite of what he
Oh
was
shit.
saying.
I missed it. It wouldn't load for some reason. I had to like walk back through it again.
So basically, what I was asking, a completely far-fetched idea. Well, it's not far-fetched. It's a terrible thing to say. Without any sort of association to yourself, just disassociate yourself from you.
He's got the whole
just
world,
you know, whatever
in
capabilities
his
you have.
back.
What if other people, only other people,
Punch
had the opportunity to
bag.
represent themselves, their beliefs, their express their opinions the exact same way that we are, in a coherent and accepting way, the same way that we do. Like, what? I feel like it almost make the world worse, but at the same, like, you know, everybody get really numb and sarcastic and shit. But maybe I hope everybody has the social capability of doing that one day. You know,
That would be nice.
it would be.
It would.
Why do I always try to create some kind of pretty fucking beautiful world that, well, why don't I try to create everything in this world that you see in front of you except for the asteroids? Except for the obstructions to look at the colors.
Those are resources too.
Well, they are.
Yeah, and like turds. Turds are
They are.
actually really fucking awesome, as well as being kind of gross.
They are, but that whenever I'm looking at a beautiful picture like that, that's not the first thing that I think of. You know, it's, to me,
When you see the
I don't mean
flowers
they're not
growing,
appealing
the
at
first
all.
thing that you think of is not the dead bodies that they grow out of, ultimately.
yeah,
It's
I
not
just
the
like
poop.
colors,
It's not the poop that fed it.
Because I like the orange, I like the red, I like the green and the blue.
Oh, me too. That's very,
And I like
very sweet.
the white, you
Damn
know, and the asteroids are there, yeah, but they don't matter.
And Nama, I know
What if
you have a
everybody
mic.
was able to talk to us?
You can
Like,
talk,
like
you know
they
that.
see the
They are very shy. Nama is very, very shy.
That's fine. I don't.
It is fine.
In any of this conversation, I hope it's never, which I realize has been
Oh, you
intimidating in so many aspects.
found my spaceship.
But yeah, I think we're all here for the exact same purpose as unification. And it doesn't matter what you say. If you've stuck around long enough to hear my bullshit and this guy's bullshit, and you're probably better than us.
There's a lot of people on here that love to just
If
listen.
I had to stand here and listen to all this shit, boy, you were the most patient fucking best human in the world.
Yeah. Yep. I actually, every time I've played, I've seen people that just like to listen for the most part. And then this different venues, this is really cool. It's really good shit. It helps a lot too. And then I usually find somebody who likes to talk like you do, but not quite as reasonable typically, or varying degrees of age and reasonability and androgen state, you know, testosterone variance, that sort of thing. And then some broken people that it's hard to deal with their triggers and
I did a terrible thing the other night dealing with a broken person. It's fucking been on my mind. I've just thought about it nonstop for so fucking long now. Well, it's only been like 4 days, but yeah. Why am I so conscious of something that I've done? I don't even have to tell you what it was. It's really not that bad. And other people will go out to other worlds and say, "What? You're fucking," and then they'll say a race comment, or they'll talk about their moms and how they're dead, or this, like, how is it conscious? When mine's,
how is it what?
Minuscule. Not on their conscience to do something like, you know, the detrimental to somebody else.
I think people are
I'll be
conditioned.
the biggest pussy in the world if it means I'm still empathetic, even though I've got the capabilities, and I would probably never be hurt if I wasn't as empathetic as I am right now. But boy, I'll never stop fucking hurt. You know why? I mean, if I stopped, then I'm limited. I stopped. That's it. I stopped. But if I don't stop, then, you know, maybe I'll feel every single emotion that other people feel, and I'll learn from that.
Creepy, right?
I feel like I'm drunk ranting about stupid shit.
Nah, dude, you're all right, man. Like, really, it's a breast of fresh ass on an otherwise meteor-ridden,
Fucking-
poop-filled fucking vision of a past 3 months, ultimately. But I've met some cool people.
Fucking digest of that.
I got some repeat customers. My Discord is growing. Most of the people in my Discord are really cool and also really busy. Smart, busy motherfuckers.
Repeat customers. That's controversial. What do you mean you?
It's just figure
I'm just kidding. I'm
figure of
just joking.
speech. Figure of speech. I've had people ask
know.
me. I feel like any minute I'm gonna have to put quarters in, as if like I'm gonna be like, nope, not talking to you anymore until you pay me or something. Like it's too good a drug, and I'm just gonna rip it right out of their hands like a fucking bad drug dealer or something. First hit's free, motherfucker. But no. And then other people are like, I feel like I've been brain napped. Like I'm sure that the Stockholm syndrome will kick in soon. Don't worry. I had a psychiatrist make that joke.
Oh, I can relate.
Yeah.
Well, that's a fucking good joke. That's too real.
It is. It's fucking awesome. I've jacked it. And like for like 3 years people asked me if I had seen Rick and Morty, and finally I went and watched it, and then the first episode made me realize that they were making fun of me, every one of them. And then I started considering the possibility that people were poaching people's online lives for material to make these shows. Now it's become one of my fantasies that I joke about all the time, and I'm like, yeah, like Rick and Morty writers out there, the bot that's harvesting my life to like write new episodes because you're running out of
So you
content
make
and
it
novelty.
easier for yourself.
Yeah, and I'm like, and the CIA out there that listens to me, used to spy on me, realized I'm not a threat and that I'm also a big help, and now you just listen to me for entertainment because like where else are you gonna hear something that you never heard before? Seriously, every single day I do this. I say something I've never said before, sometimes multiple times, and It's just I let it happen. I don't try to
I think
hold on
that's
to
my
it.
favorite. That's my favorite part of the day.
What's that? Novelty?
That's saying something that I haven't said before.
Yeah. It's fucking cool that
Because
it can
whenever I
happen.
say something I haven't thought about before, or somebody says something I haven't thought about before, whether it makes me, contradictory, whether it makes me biased, whatever it was that I was before, I'm different than I was before. Even if I have the same opinion, I'm different because I've thought about something completely different.
I was watching some of my older content today on stream and shitlording myself. And using it, hey, what's up, AK? Welcome back. I was using it as an example of why it doesn't even make sense to publish permanent content, or like, it's like everything has to come with a disclaimer. This may not be true tomorrow, or I may not subscribe to 90% of this tomorrow, or 2% of it tomorrow. And then the subtle changes turn into pretty big changes over time as we develop or find out, discover.
As they should.
Yeah, and so I could really go back through all of it and fine-tooth comb.
I never look at myself in the past, dude. It makes me so sick.
Well,
It's a week.
Well, most of my work I didn't publish until I was like 33.
Developmental. I just fucking avoid it because I'm a pussy, like.
Oh, I don't feel shame. I don't like excessive individualism is too simple to be true, and everything I've ever done is because of everything that everyone else has ever done, and everyone has done in all of time, and a mass of microbiology, the whole ecosystem sparing me the calories in different ways. And I mean, it's so many things are usurped to free up the calories for us to do what we're doing right now. It's so gluttonous. And then when we become sort of this level of ability to feel and perceive things and communicate, at that point,
Really, the only
there's a
responsibility
responsibility
for everybody else is the ability to to portray what we want to say. That's it.
It becomes a responsibility.
They all have the same thoughts.
Yeah, some of them. I have seen that too. Which ones, though, right?
I really think. Well, there's no way to differentiate. I think every single one of them's capable.
Oh, capable for sure. I would like to catch it early, and I've tried to figure out a way to pass this.
We did. We fucking succeeded. Me too.
Yeah, I guess define early.
Well, I guess for yourself. For yourself.
I was raised by
a
psychologist, cognitive therapist, with a specialization in child psychology, developmental. So he took all of his knowledge and turned me into his little Frankenstein's monster. And you had lots of support to grow your brain as well, and whatever.
That's an impressive thought.
Yeah, it's different.
Imagine somebody like you that with the capabilities of expressing your opinions and talking about controversial things. Whether he could have been fucking Frankenstein and you were the monster, and you know what, he could have taken your heart at any point, but that would have never mattered because you developed into something that was probably more than anything, any other situation you could have been born or raised in would have developed. You did.
Frankenstein's is a beautiful monster.
Yeah, it would have sucked
Mary
if
Shelley's
you were raised by
Frankenstein
somebody that wasn't a child psychologist.
Oh, it would have been awful. Oh, it would have been awful. My real dad would have probably choked the life out of me or beat the fuck out of me, and I would have been
that
real.
Right there is fucking optimism, boy. That is deep.
Well, my stepfather is a hardcore militant dude. He was carrot or stick all the time, and he's on me all the time. So overly critical. Had to get A's. If I refused to do the work, I'd get grounded for 2 weeks. Have to do 8 book reports, and I did for getting a D because I refused to do the work in English in 6th grade. So 6th grade summer, I got grounded for 2 weeks. Had to do 8 book reports, and then that's on top of an hour every day of piano. And
see, my parents were never capable of thinking about a beneficial repercussion for me like that.
And
they were just telling me, go sit in your room. You can't go hang out with your friends. That was all that's the development that I was raised. That's the capability they had of developing me to be something different they were.
My stepfather turned me into him, except an amplified version for different reasons. Earlier start.
Which what ended up probably had And because it was so young, I probably had more capability. He knew what he was doing. He knew that the capabilities that he would have would be more than he had ever imagined himself having. And not because he was limiting himself, because he knew the fucking realism of the aspect, the fact were that you could be something he could never be.
Man, you just caffeinated fresh in the top of the morning, no alcohol, and just maybe a couple hits of sativa dominant hybrid, and dude, you would hit a flow state. It's impressive, sir. So, yes, everything you were saying.
I'm not impressive. I know how to speak, and every single person's impressive. They just don't know how to speak.
You were running a bunch of perceptual paradigms, is what I call it.
Well, don't delve into the fact that
it requires
somebody
so much.
said something that you thought was impressive. Just remember, I'm a drunk man on cocaine.
Well, I talk to thousands of people, so the variance is pretty profound when it's like this. And most of the time, people are just wasting my time, and I won't interrupt them, but sometimes I shut them down if it's too absurd. But you haven't, you just pretty good at expressing it in a succinct way that I know what you mean, even if it's not exactly the words I would use, but I would take too long to say it.
Another far-fetched idea. I said exactly what you thought before. You just never portrayed it, and you never continually thought about it in your own mind because you knew that you were capable of more than your dad could have ever, You succeeded. You ended up being something you'd never be. You've thought about that. You've known that. You literally said that before I said anything.
Actually, he
so
told me.
Whatever thought I represented or made it trigger the fact that you felt good, that was the power of optimism.
No.
That was the power of telling something to somebody without any kind of manipulative aspect. It was because you know what, you deserve to fucking hear it and realize it. That's optimism.
I didn't need to. I already knew, and he told me. He told me when I was 21 that I was a revolutionary in regards to the field of psychology. He also told me immediately afterwards that he didn't have time for it, and he's been afraid to look at my work, and I bet you that he won't look at it until he retires, which is sad because he's going to really like it when he finally looks at it. And at the same time, I've already revised it. I've already gone so much further, so he should just talk to me and just say fuck the content.
How much are you banking on the fact that he's satisfied with whatever work you've done?
No, he's not. He thinks that I wasted all his hard work for the most part, but at the same rate, he knows that I'm a revolutionary in regards to the field of psychology, but he also knows that's a really negative thing to be on the fringes and be a pioneer of anything, especially something as stagnated and sort of authoritarian and established in the collegiate environment. And there is definitely prejudice against people who are doing it without the help of collegiate environment, which makes total fucking sense to me, but it's not applicable to everyone all the time. And I did.
It should never be
I pirated college lectures, so it's not like I did it without it. So
we should never be oppressed because we learned it a
and
different
Wikipedia.
way.
Oh no. And he's not prejudiced. He's not prejudiced. He just knows that it's a painful life. Yeah, he just knows it's painful for me. He had an aim
honestly,
to make me normal.
Whatever pain he feels is probably a trigger from some kind of trauma that we've never experienced. That he did, that we'll never experience, that he's going to experience for the rest of his life. It can't be changed.
That you can simulate approximately just fine.
It'd be the worst thing in the world to try to simulate and
I know how he feels. You do too.
I hope you don't.
You do too. I do. I mean, I've worked so much harder than he did with me.
But I'm not inside of somebody. I can't.
Well, no, you can't do it at the detail of which is the structure. You can't simulate something as complex as neurological structure perfectly, but you can enough. You can enough when you know enough, and you've had the practice at empathizing with people. You know that it sucks when you put a lot of work into something like a relationship or raising someone else's kid, and then they get ripped away when you've made that bond and all that effort, and the waste, it's so painful. And the lack of empathy from the younger form that doesn't know sometimes what you're given and has no way of empathizing. Hindsight's 20/20. And so now being 40, is a totally different outlook. I mean, I had a different outlook when I was 21, but it wasn't much different. I actually haven't changed that much since 5 years old, but I'm weird. I've been
You gotta change.
really weird my whole life.
Of course, that's my opinion. You know, you may have already figured it out. You don't have to change because you figured it out. But
Well,
I feel like when I
no.
was 21, all of a sudden 22, like my 21-year-old, like I was a dumbass.
Nuance.
When I was 22, like I turned 23, and then like, shit, dude, why did I do that? Why did I think that when I was 22? Like, I'm the most inconsistent, but relevant, but contradictory, but hypocritical human that anybody will ever.
Now, the flip-flopping is just a sign that you aren't too egotistical and you can just admit you're wrong or unsure. You can be in a state of perpetual cognitive dissonance and remain somewhat comfortable or completely comfortable until you land on something that makes more sense. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hopscotch?
I've never had more comfort. I've never had more comfort in my entire life than the fact that I realized I was wrong.
Yeah, it's efficient, and you quickly can get to epiphanies when you do that. That's where I associate the dopamine release with
feel great.
is epiphanies. Yes, or like just a moment.
Pack of cigarettes I just bought. I have no idea. I've got to find it, dude.
I used weed. I used weed to quit smoking cigarettes after like 15 years of smoking.
Because of simplistic minds and emotional
alcohol and coke, dude. Phew.
Coping mechanisms.
Begging for cigarettes right there.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. But I mean, whether or not they were involved, I'd probably still be a fucking pain smoker no matter what. But
I wish I could.
Yeah, coping. Do I?
I wish I could trade in my Camel Cash and Marlboro Miles for an iron lung. Then I would smoke constantly. I'd smoke in my sleep. I'd smoke even if it killed me.
And the liver, man, they are the MVPs of the body when it comes to me.
I'll be lucky to be alive 5 years, to be honest. Go ahead and pee.
Oh, me too. We think that, but we can't even. I'm no biologist. You know, I don't know. I'll probably be a lot longer, which kind of sucks.
I'm pretty close. I'm getting pretty close to a diagnostician at this point. Pretty close, at least in certain threads.
What do you mean?
I don't know. Like, I can gauge by statistical data roughly my estimated lifespan based on memory of drug abuse, and do it like 40 to 60% with 5% fluctuation in any direction for room for error, something like that. It's about that likely that I'll die from kidney or liver failure, but it's also likely that I'll be pretty high up on the list for a transplant because I'm otherwise pretty healthy. So there's a chance I'll live in that. There's also a chance that I'll be lucky enough to last till they can just grow us one, which they are really close to doing, or like replacing it with a kidney from a pig that they've washed all the cellular material out, and they've just kind of got this like sort of skeletal tendinous thing, and then they just seed your cells into it and replace, and you go on. And that's possible too, but
I think if you're like me,
I'm not worried about it either. I'm not worried about it.
I don't worry too much about it. I also don't worry about self-diagnosing myself because of other people. You know, because looking at a generalized statistic of like other people with similar symptoms and like what I think that other people's capabilities were, and they died because they had alcoholism. It doesn't matter how much they drank. Dude, I have no fucking idea how long I'm going to live, but I feel like it's going to be longer than I expect myself to. But I also shouldn't have an expectation. Why did I develop a number to even say then I expect myself to live? Like, what number is that? Why did I think that was a good idea to even make a number there?
Well, that's not my only figure. So I run multiple simulations at the same time based on lots of variants with branching off trees, of which have different probabilities.
Which are the exact same relevance as the hypothesis whenever somebody says, well, the bee has a fucking thorax, but a wasp doesn't.
There's probably like anywhere from 1 to 15, 20% that I'll just get killed by somebody in a parking lot of a grocery store who I said something to on the
I
internet
think
they didn't
that's
like.
more realistic of a thought than to develop something that has an expectation for you.
Oh, you don't know how much drugs I've done, how much I've abused myself over the years.
Well, me too. Okay, we need to talk about that right because it's an interesting conversation. I'm interested to know. I don't know if you are. You might not want to converse about it.
Oh, sure. I mean,
but
I had my own
don't get
fear and
sick of it.
loathing in Las Vegas when I was 17.
I've got to get a beer and I've got to pee and I need to find that pack of cigarettes I just fucking bought. There.
Right. While we're talking about destroying our internal organs.
Hold on. 1 second. I'll be back.
So what about you, Nama? You don't want to share anything at all? Like, I totally don't mind you absorbing. It's cool. I understand. But at the same rate, I feel like you should give me something. Like, all the times you've spoken, I don't think I was able to understand anything that you said. It was like quiet. There were other people. I couldn't really tell what you said. And like, it cut out. So I mean, I got nothing to go on other than a real quiet, very timid voice. And you know, I'm not trying to like pressure you, but I guess it's just I just want you to know that I would like something, even though I don't have any expectations and you don't have to, and like, it's whatever. Mainly the reason why is because over the years I forget everyone's names. There's just too many names. I got like 7, 8 handles myself, so it's like meh. Like, none of them are accurate except one metaphysical axiom. And so if I know something about somebody that might stay that way for a while, and then 6 months goes by, chaos, we drift, we come back, and then I ask the same question, and then you tell me the same thing, and then I'm like, oh yeah, and did we talk about this and that? And like, oh yeah, you came with a journey with me and Corey, and it was hours long journey of midnight gospel type shit. Like, we were all, you were our Morty, sort of.
Oh man, that felt like a long journey of like, I had such high expectations of self-depreciation. Here we go. Pack the smokes.
Yep,
All right,
yep.
drugs. Tell me about drugs.
Mental masturbation. Okay, well,
Yeah.
I was born in the mountains of Kentucky, in a farmhouse with no running water and no electricity. And my dad cut my umbilical cord. There was like a bunch of people in the room, hippies and shit, watched me be born. My godmother and shit. And then one of our neighbors makes her own soap. We could get on horseback and ride for like, I don't know, an hour or something, and be a place where there's people with the dirt floor and make their own clothes and stuff. You really wanted us to jump right here at this particular moment? I guess so. We're at like near the beginning of a spiel.
I'm no limits. I'll do whatever the fuck.
Well, let's follow
Everything's
Nama.
adaptable.
Let's follow Nama. I'll ram up. Ramming up, fish boning, premises. I guess I'm pretty good at the Joe Dirt story accelerated. Do you got feedback? Oh, I got more than feedback. I got vision. I got like, give me stock options, vision. So much knowledge piled up from studying social media. Oh my god, the things I could teach the world. And the things it can teach me. Oh yeah, Nama, you got all sorts of fucking cool worlds. And what the fuck, there's so much. Transcendia on Discord. What? Jumping is set to... Oh my. We would have to jump at the same time in order to stay cohesive. We'd have to be like 3, 2, 1 jump, and then we could talk again. Are you ready? 3,
Do that. You
2,
want to do it on a consistent
1,
pattern?
jump. Alright, yeah, and so this is just how it goes, and we can sit here and talk while we're like bouncing and fucking, hey, holy shit. At any rate, like, I can't, like, it's too hard. I won't be on point. I won't be on point. It's really difficult.
Yeah, I wouldn't
It's
either.
complicated.
There's no way.
The Joe Dirt story. But yeah, that's funny as shit anyway. Trampoline. And I want to save this before I forget. And so any rate, pretty quickly, my mom decided that my dad was not the right person to teach me anything, because he would talk to me like an adult when I was 4 and just let me burn myself on the stove. He'd be like, "It's hot. It'll probably hurt. I'm not gonna tell you what to do. You're your own man. You can learn. I'm just, giving you some advice, friendly pointers." And then I'd go ahead and touch the hot stove, and it would burn.
Right.
And then at 4 years old, I gotta think about consequences, right? So like, how many people at 4 years old are thinking about consequences of a hot burning stove? But I was also an asshole and into shit, and he would lose his temper, and my mom got scared. So she left, and then she spanked me shortly thereafter because she couldn't control me. I ran away from home at 5, and she married the child psychologist as her next step 2 years later.
5?
Yeah, I ran away from home. I was like, you're a dumb bitch. You have no idea what you're talking about. I'm leaving. And like,
I can't understand the emotional distress of making 5 years old for me to run away from home.
yeah, and I went to the nearest convenience store to steal
Survival.
candy. That was my plan. Oops, I jumped. That was dangerous. I was headed like a drug addict.
And you have to jump
Oh, there you are. I was headed like a drug addict to go get candy, even at 5. I knew what was up. But my mom tried to tell me about the Tooth Fairy and Santa Claus. Other family members and shit tried to force religion on me or encourage me heavily, take me to church. And I didn't believe any of it ever, period. I was like, "No, Mom, you're putting money under my pillow." "Nah, sorry. Don't buy it." And like, Grandma and Grandpa don't even have a chimney. That fat man ain't getting down no fucking chimney. This is absurd, basically. I was like, "Why are you lying to me?" And that was a pattern of me not trusting them ever. And then my stepfather did what he could, like carrot and stick, and like he encouraged me but also forced me to do things I didn't want to do. Lots of things I didn't want to do, which gives you like well-rounded abilities, and then your potential is whatever you want it to be because you've got the support to go any direction, sort of thing. But I broke free.
You learned something in an emotionally scarring way. I mean,
It was traumatic. It was absurd, control freak type thing. But at the same rate, if he hadn't done it, I'd have been a monster of some sort. I was anyway.
Some other developmental way that probably taught you the exact same way, the exact same thought process, just in a different direction, probably more beneficial. But
yeah,
but that's not what matters, because you know what, it didn't happen this fast.
Yeah. So at any rate, my mom, like I said, she remarried like 2 years later, and she was a single mom living in group housing or like cockroaches in our cereal and stuff. And then my stepfather is like middle class or middle upper class after a while, and he moved us to New England, to like a house that's 200 something years old, and in a town where no one locks their doors, and if anyone commits a crime, you know who it was. And like,
Right.
and like at the same time, if you broke down and you walked up to a random stranger's door and asked to use their phone, they're pretty likely going to shut the door in your face. And and that's kind of weird. And like,
Well, it seems contradictory, but it's probably developed over many years. We just don't understand.
and then in
Because we've
Kentucky,
always experienced something different.
you'll be lucky if the person doesn't stop and give you a ride, or at least try to get a feel for you and then give you a ride. Or that's hitchhiking, and then like use your phone. Come on in, have a drink. Are you hungry? Is usually the way Southern hospitality works. Plus, there's a loaded shotgun within arm's reach and a 10-year-old to blow your fucking head off if you step out of line. And
Right,
like
but
home
that was
invasions.
probably they're never like their first thought. It's
Home invasions non-existent in that environment. Any rate, but we moved to New England, totally different environment, less religious, more intellectual, more support. I mean, I got every benefit at that point instead of impoverished or living like a hillbilly. And then I finally broke free by the time I was 17. My dad died of lung cancer when I was just barely 18. I was 17, I guess. Plus, I got arrested for meth. that I brought back with me from Vegas, and also a weed substance and paraphernalia. And they then couldn't arrest me with the weed-like substance because it wasn't a drug they had ever discovered before. So I got away with that one. And then they charged me as an adult for the meth and the paraphernalia.
You helped the cops discover dabs? Is that what you're telling me?
No, it wasn't dabs. I still don't know what it was. I just know it made me hallucinate. It was. They told me it was Thai stick, but
I do shit today.
it was some weird hodgepodge of shit that who knows what it was, but it made you hallucinate for a short time, like really visual hallucinations. You like overlaid on suggestive things.
That's how as many things I've done. I feel like, as far as hallucinations goes, I don't want to rant about it, but I've started shrooms, then LSD, and then ayahuasca, and then DMT. I feel like I've been all over this.
There's that
like
lateral. The
most realistic, like it doesn't matter what your expectations are, but the most realistic experience I've had as far as hallucinations go, and Ambien, the sleeping drug.
Yeah, sleep deprivation.
Your real life changes. Your real life changes. And you know it. You're aware. Oh, it's terrible. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, so they charged me as an adult for the drugs, and then because it was an open carton of cigarettes, 1 pack in my front chest pocket, and then all the other packs still in the carton, but it opened, they charged me as individual charges for each pack instead of just for the one charge, which would have been the carton, and then milked my poor stepfather with fines and charged me as a minor while at the same time charging me as an adult for something else when I was 18 when they were charging me in the court. And so it was
sick that they can consider themselves a deity, like they have the opportunity to make somebody else suffer over another person's decision.
Right, and here I am, honestly, not bragging, I was perceptually and existentially smarter than them at 5, and they're trying to tell me what to do at 17 when they should be asking me some questions and not trying to destroy my life with aggression, putting a gun in my face. Actually, they were harassing me at 14 years old. Before I started doing drugs, they already considered me guilty, and the police were treating me and my friends as if we were. And we would get run. I feel
like their disadvantage is that you had another, let's see.
This was right after Reagan ramped up.
To realize exactly what they were going to do.
Yes, and by the time I was 21, I receded from society. And I dropped out of school at 17, right around when my dad died. And my stepfather kicked me out of the house that winter. So I was 18 and homeless.
Was your dad dying influential to you? Was that part of the reason you dropped out?
Not really, no. I mean, I hated school 5 years old. 14 years old, I told my mom she was...
use it as an opportunity to just get...
No. What it was... So, 9th grade, I pretty much my entire career is all A's. Maybe a B in there somewhere, but mostly all A's. And I don't really remember for sure. It's fuzzy. But it wasn't hard for me. It was just annoying. It was jumping through hoops, and it was memorize this, regurgitate it, and then English is annoying. Here's phonetics. These are the phonetic rules. Now we're going to break all those rules and punish you for not remembering all these Latin etymology spellings, and I'm I don't give a fuck about all your proper grammar. I can speak just fine, and if I try to write it, you'll still know what I'm saying. It's not that important. Let's focus on science and other things. I mean, I was more interested in other things like math and chemistry and geology and astrophysics, and I mean, I was a super nerd. Yeah. At 8 years old, you could take me to a stale whaling museum lecture, and I would answer the questions about the whaling, and I was a really nerdy kid. And then I hated school. I hated other kids. I really did. I hated MTV. I hated the 80s completely. I liked the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and Moody Blues and Bonnie Raitt and George Winston piano music and shit old hippies listen to. That's what I grew up on, and I was around old hippies for the first 5 years of my life, and then all of a sudden kids. This is not fair. I don't want to be, but my stepfather forced me to try to be compatible, which drove me to use drugs so that I would be compatible, because there was no way I was going to be able to deal with it without drugs. And
I mean, realistically, it probably didn't drive you. It's just you realize drugs are fun.
well, that's sort of true. Like, the cigarettes was me rebelling at a young age and emulating my dad, who was like the cool dad that you saw once a year that lets you do whatever you want.
You rebelled
But then after that,
you realized you liked it.
weed, I realized weed made it so that I didn't lose my temper with people that were idiots or with authority that was pushy, and I finally snapped. But the weed would like take the edge off, like the testosterone fueled out of controlness. And I learned later that that was because of the sedative effects plus phytoestrogenic compounds that are in marijuana. They're in a lot of things like hops and beer, soy, peanut butter, broccoli, and our receptors we have estrogen receptors. Surely you know this. So that
I think the
balances
benefit of
it a
weed is
bit.
like
And that's my theory anyway. We could ask Robert Sapolsky and like a bunch of specialists about that. That would be interesting to see what they say. And I think it's a natural part of the environment. We seek out the drugs that balance us depending on the demands of which fluctuate.
God,
And
that's so fucking real.
yeah, and then our preferences change because probably our receptor counts change in response to it. So it changes us. Drugs aren't the same always. And then, you get like 5 good years out of maybe a drug, and then you move on to a different one for a different reason or a different cocktail. And then after a while, placebo suggestion can, just the whiff of weed, and all of a sudden you're as buzzed as you need to be because of placebo. Like your brain knows what to do, and it tricks you into just being it. And then you see how flashbacks can really happen, even besides like actual flashbacks, which I don't even know if what I heard about it was a theory. Fucking have to look it up again.
I think it's the same with just the concept of it's not worth, like trying to differentiate real versus flashback's a flashback.
Yeah. So all the kids that were smart as me, none of them were sort of out and about in town and like forced to do a lot of other things where you have to deal with people of different colors, so to speak. And like my stepfather did. And then alcohol, people like me a lot better when I'm on alcohol because I'm not as wordy, I'm not as nerdy, and then I'm more fun, more reckless. It's like Mr. Hobbit and Dr. Jackass. I'm 5'4", and so for a long time it was alcohol and heavily abusing it. I mean, really young, and then weed made it so I didn't abuse alcohol as much, but I still did. And then it was just both. And then I drank a lot at a time, smoked a lot at a time, smoke a lot of cigarettes, and like have competitions so you can smoke cigarettes faster. We made gravity bongs out of 5-gallon buckets and the bathtub.
I've made them out of everything. Fucking with a 2-liter bottle, cut the bottom out of it, put a socket in the cap. You name it,
Yeah, we were like doing it to the point where we were like suffocating ourselves, fucking up our lungs, and like almost puke and shit. And like now I microdose with weed. I know it takes like the tiniest amount. You just have to let your tolerance bottom out. And I've become masterful later in life, but I made so many mistakes along the way, plus so much like self-destructive mentality at the time, hopelessness, and not enough courage to kill myself, but wanting to die at every second, every day, thinking about it more than sex. It was like in between thinking about sex. It was like wishing I was dead. And that's most of my life too. But I'm definitely, my lizard brain and like the instinct to survive and push on, it's a fucking tenacious thread within this frame, and it doesn't budge. It's really fucking stubborn. I have to. I have to
Same thing
convince
everybody
it.
feels, and that's more powerful than the fact that you had any sort of capability to do that yourself, even if you contemplated the most
Yeah, but dude, I would
ways to die.
double solid line, passing people on 3 wheels, unpredictable environments. I mean, like, so reckless. So reckless. I rolled
The
a car.
similarity.
I rolled a car hardcore. What's up?
I went underneath
Mitchell?
one that, but yeah, the similarity of the same like thoughts and cares and whatever emotion that like experience.
Oh, we got another
They,
portal.
All right, let's do it. Fuck it.
We're gonna have to figure out which Midnight Gospel episode this is closest to. We just do a little overlay, and just be patient there, Michel and AKs. I will answer you guys. I fit it in here and there. Like, see, I can have it muted, and I can be talking to you guys. You just bear with me. It's just we don't want to interrupt the flow, right?
Extremely relevant.
Sorry, I missed probably 3 seconds. Oh, cool constellations.
Yeah, I just
There's
wanted
Orion.
a telescope. It's like relevant.
Oh, cool.
Like, I just bought one. I'm so excited.
The very first person I met in this game is into astronomy, and that's what they want to do with their lives. And they showed me Orion from the bar, because it was out the window of the bar that we met in. It's fucking cool. Nerdy.
Everybody's had that aspiration because it's fucking amazing. Everybody wishes they could know more about what we don't know about. I always have. Maybe I can't speak for everybody. But yeah, I've always been curious. I could make a career out of that for sure.
Oh, well, intellectual freedom is really, really awesome. And that's,
yeah, I think like just the opportunity to have the innovation in music's probably going to develop the fact that everything else is innovative and understanding and learning. I'll never know enough, I guess. Anyway, I didn't mean to cut you off. I really can't remember the point I was trying to portray, but I'd love to continue.
Oh, you're fine. You didn't cut me off. And the way I do this, because I talk so much more than you think you are. I am absurd with the amount of words I can spit. It's
all perception.
Oh my god, no. Like, I can show you. I can give you examples, and you'll be like, "Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. Like, stop," And I'll be like, "I know, right?" So whenever anyone else has something to say,
the same thought about myself.
Whenever someone else has something to say, typically I just like the tie goes to them, or like, believe me, I'm tired of repeating myself. I'm tired of carrying a podcast type scenario or a chat. Let's also follow Nada. Yeah. I can't chew gum though right now. But this is cool.
I can't chew gum.
Hard mode.
TMJ. My TMJ is like 1.5 degrees off dinner, and I can't chew gum.
Grab control sphere in the room to change date and time. Have you seen the Science Museum? Spooky Science Museum?
I haven't.
It's cool. They've got like a whole, Carl Sagan's Pale Blue Dot. They've got that whole thing, except like a 3D environment movie thing made in this game that you can go and like walk around in while it's playing. It's pretty cool.
That's cool shit.
Yeah. I could show you that one after. Theater. Here we are. Track type normal. Is this how accurate is this?
Nama was headed the other direction.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is fucking sick.
Yeah, I did meth for 3 years. Yeah. But,
Yeah. So I wasn't even close to done. I mean, like, that trip to Vegas, my dad was dying of lung cancer, and it was his last hurrah. And I was too young to gamble, but I was able to drink. He kept giving me tons of money, and I just found some drug dealers and started hanging with them. A couple of hippies selling meth. I'd never done meth, but real quick, I had a tolerance for it. And they were like, "Oh, that didn't work? Wow. All right, well, here." Then, and then I was just in it for the whole rest of the time I was there.
it's risky as shit, but I've always been that same exact way. But
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
amphetamines.
yeah.
Amphetamines, I feel like I've always had a certain, like, I guess that's why I love them so much, because I always had what I guess I would say, like, a resistance to the frantic state of mind, and enjoyed the hype state of mind. And you know what? I bet everybody feels the same way. That's why it's fucking addictive. But yeah, maybe I'm primitive. Maybe that's why everybody does, because they are like me, and I'm like them. But amphetamine's great. Yeah.
So there are genotypes in our ancestries, right? That, like, Germanic breed, European ancestry, they had fermentation, so everybody was drinking beer for a really long time, and so we have more of an affinity to lean towards alcohol and get addicted to it, but be able to handle our shit. Whereas American Indian heritage, they did not have fermentation, and so they have very little sort of defense against it. And I am partly Indian, and I do not like alcohol at all. So I leaned towards weed my whole life, and then stimulants and hallucinogens. But I hate, like, morphine and heroin and pain pills and muscle relaxants and sedatives
really
and
anything that has, like, detrimental effect to your mind from a depressant. That's what you don't.
yeah, like Xanax or Trazodones, those tranquilizers. Fuck that. That's trash. You forget a whole day.
I challenge my cardiovascular system every day by making sure that depressants can't win the battle against the fucking my body producing serotonin until which one's gonna win today? And that's exactly what I do every day.
So how accurate is this? Is this just playing at it, or is this, like, are we really? I mean, it's like snippets of the process. So we've got a little compressed shortcut version.
Be consumed by the thought it was built be enjoyable, not factual, I guess.
Right. This telescope doesn't see all these. These are computer enhanced images of red and blue shift, or of different mineral content, etc. Whatever. It's still really cool.
We've had a lot of good discussion. I'm glad I've learned a little bit about you, which I didn't really. We didn't develop any kind of a personal relationship until the end, I guess. But
we just dove in.
But, yeah. And anything we've talked about everything that could potentially be controversial, and just dissipated the fuck out of any controversy that's negative of any bit of that conversation. That's nice and refreshing to see that there is the potential of some random ass person that you meet. Anybody, could be anybody. Their name could be any fucking thing. But that I think that's why I have hope in the fact that everybody has the exact same potential. Because I gotta look at you as someone that didn't from the start and dismiss the fact that this discussion should happen to begin with.
Oh no.
And
oh no.
So once again, I guess what did I say? I'm fucking.
So I had several predictions, all based on probabilities, and as soon as I met you, within 2-3 minutes, I knew that we were gonna have great conversations, and then like I like really quickly I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be like, hey, we're gonna go, and you should come with us there. And then whoever else, like I knew I was grabbing you. You're my Morty, or I'm your Morty, for a moment here and there. As we passed the
I
Mortys.
think, I guess as it developed, maybe not the first 5 minutes or whatever, but like at some point I must have stopped having any sort of expectation or prediction, but
That's good. Most people
kind of
don't.
just went with the fact that it was. I went with the idea that it was just unpredictable, and
Yeah.
I need to accept the fact it's unpredictable, and I think that makes
Chaos.
it so much more enjoyable
It's chaos wrangling, and like
because you know what, it worked
you
out.
can only do
It
so
worked
much.